Hey everyone, this is Alex USA Days, and I think we have a problem. I wanted to talk about something that I've been noticing quite often, and it's the amount of bugs that are just popping up in everyday apps that I use, apps or web pages, and I'm not searching for them. Even though I am a QA, I'm not going and searching for the bugs. They are in the normal user flows that every person will encounter, which is kind of crazy considering that the apps that I've been using are million and billions of dollars companies that I don't know. Is everyone stopped testing? Did companies do AI vibe coding and not check in the work? Because the bugs are just crazy, and I'll give you some examples and I'll show something that I posted on my LinkedIn. Um, and that is very alarming trend because ultimately, if companies stop testing and say our developers do testing or we automated everything or whatever the excuse they find, or they completely get rid of actual QA that looks at their code, of course they're not going to find issues or report issues because no one's looking for them. And what happens as a result, they essentially shifting their testing to the customers. So your customers becoming your QA if you get rid of QA at the company. So here are some examples that I encountered recently, and I posted on my LinkedIn, and I will also read someone else's example on LinkedIn. All right, so this is a post from Michael Bolton, and he's talking about traveling abroad, and then eSIM needs a top up so I can phone and use web and such. So he's trying to put money on the SIM card, and he goes to the TD Canada Trust website to do it. And when he goes to the search, it's in a black box, half of which is hidden by the search bar. And then when he searches for travel, he gets logged out. He tries it again, gets logged down again. Then he is looking elsewhere for instructions, goes through his credit card account. He can chat with the online chat. He starts typing into online chat, and it gives about 20 characters into a box, and then it just errors out. When he starts over trying to resolve his problem, it errors out again. The last resort, he goes through the app on his phone, and there's a feature Clary, which Tao's got a question, I got answers. He types block credit card transaction and responds, I missed that, please try asking a different way. So, like, all of the routes he's trying to take just to add some funds so he can do calls and search web on his eSIM are essentially blocked. Those are not some corner cases that user will never encounter. This renders your application unusable, and you're gonna lose so many people trying to use your services. No, they're just gonna find something else and stop using it. So that's just the post that I was reading today. And I thought to myself, okay, so I'm not the only one. I'm seeing the people posting about it, and I see the things actually happening. So here are some examples of what I've encountered. This is my purchase of Papa John's pizza, and I am logged in. I'm checking out, and it says thank you name, and then confirmation email was sent to the user email. So it did not pick up information of my account. I already placed the order. You have to be logged in to place an order. The order is placed. It never took my name for the placed order, and it never took the email. It just displayed the boilerplate, so empty variables in the window. That's one. Here's a zoomed in screenshot of that. The second one just happened recently. I'm opening McDonald's rewards, and that's what I see. Large iced coffee was the same exact image that Sausage McGriddles has. And I don't know how they like develop and code this. Maybe the AI is actually generating those, or it is using an ID of some sort that is being generated, but probably the ID is the same, or same image for different IDs, how it grabs the image, how it's being populated. But I mean, this is obvious, right? And then here, this one was the craziest one, but that I encountered recently. But this is also Papa John's. So I forgot my password, and I'm trying to order pizza, and I fill out the form, forgot your password, put my email in, send the email goes to my clicks send the reset link, it goes to my email comes and it says change password. You hit the change password button in your email and it goes into login screen. So the change password redirects you back to login where you can't log in because you don't remember your password. It doesn't change anything. There's no way you can, like, you're locked out of your account. So I couldn't order pizza that night. So I mean, I ordered it somewhere else, but it's just ridiculous. Like, what is going on? I mean, I see companies, all right, they're, I don't know, vibe coding, adding AI everywhere, getting rid of QA, but all they're really doing, they're just massing bugs and pushing it to the customers, to the users. And again, this is not some crazy corner case, not something that, okay, you have to do some special magic to trigger this. No, this is everyday flow of a user. I don't know if you experienced this, like, let me know how many bugs you find and if you actually seen more issues popping up recently. That's been like last couple months, and there's a lot of things like that going on. And I mean, it is okay. I mean, it's never okay, but it is not as harmful to cut corners in the apps that are like social media, or some sort of entertainment, or like ordering food. I get it. Like, this is not going to be an end of the world. But if you start pushing this everywhere, or business starts pushing this everywhere, saying like, we got this thing going on, whatever, vibe coded, vibe tested, we don't really need real humans looking at those things, you will end up with disasters. And I'm talking about like big things breaking and billions of dollars lost. So there are some examples in the recent past without the whole AI thing going on, but just over reliance on automation and trying to cut corners. One of the examples is Boeing 737 MAX groundings, and there were several planes that crashed. This costed $20 billion in direct cost, and it costed around $60 billion in indirect costs, just trying to cut corners in the processes that were established. I mean, this is, we're talking about human lives, right? It's not an app. It's not a McGriddles showing, or Egg McMuffin instead of iced coffee. This is terrible. And then the most recent one is a CrowdStrike outage, and I think I talked about it before, but what they had, I mean, they crashed roughly about 8.5 million systems that are using, like, we're using Microsoft. So on the background, they're running the cybersecurity. CrowdStrike is running their cybersecurity services, and they push the config through, updated config onto those systems, like a silent load, rendering the machines useless. All of them rebooted in BIOS, losing internet access. Every and each one of those machines had to be fixed manually, and the fix didn't come out immediately. It took quite some time, several days, a week. I mean, the aftermath of this was felt for a while. People couldn't travel. Company was sued. I think they caused approximately billions of damage. They were sued for like millions. And there was some remedy published how to go around this. But the interesting enough, why that happened, so they had their internal automation running, and the config, that a previous version of the config that they used passed through the test, everything looked fine. I think they had some manual testing or deployment of it. I'm not sure. There was a read on that, but the latest update that crashed everything was just a config update that they went through their internal automation system that tested it, and the automation reported false positive, and they didn't check it further. No one actually cared to update the config on a local machine and boot it up, and or even remotely logged in, boot it up and see if it actually loads and if it's running processes, or try to catch an issue or whatever, cyber attack. Nothing. They just ran through the automation. Automation reported pass. Everything looks good. It was a false pass, so automation couldn't handle probably the system crashing or something. Just said yeah, everything looks good, and they deployed this thing to millions of computers, almost 8.5 millions of systems crashing them because the config in itself had a problem that Microsoft couldn't deal with. So the Windows system couldn't handle. And like this is not a small thing. Like this is not a small thing. So the trend of like we start here, we're not displaying your name or we're showing some other thing. All those apps, I mean, okay, we're kind of bugs here and there, like, but if you're starting seeing them every other day, and this is being pushed on daily apps that people use, and then it's going to go further into like critical systems, and I don't know, cybersecurity and so on and so on. It's just we're going to catch so much trouble because of this, because of not following proper development and testing and deployment practices. This is going to be a disaster, and I think we're actually seeing the beginning of a disaster where problems like that, they're going to get into businesses more and more, and then at some point they'll get to the businesses that deal with your infrastructure, critical systems, data centers, and so on and so on, like healthcare. So I think it's not going to be fun. All right, so I'm all for AI, and I'm all for faster development, and I'm all for profit margins and increasing that, but I think you can't cut corners on quality. You just can't, because it's gonna bite back, and you're gonna destroy your business. You're gonna lose customers. I mean, you can't make your clients, your customers, testers. You just can't. All right, so this was Alex USA Days. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.